No. Welcome back. We are hosting members of the Nigeria for Change group, and they are for accelerating the President's transformation agenda. It's my pleasure to welcome Barrister Kingsley Omose, as well as, sorry?
Good morning, or is it afternoon?
Good morning. As well as Reverend Femi Aribisala. Good morning.
Dr. Femi Aribisala.
Dr. Femi, not Reverend?
Not Reverend.
Ah, okay. The very controversial Dr. Femi Aribisala. Good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning. Now, let me begin with you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Elections are 3 weeks away, and the campaign is really, really heating up and becoming very, very interesting. I think this is the most interesting I've seen in a long time. I don't know about you.
That's true.
Things are moving on according by, as they say in Nigeria. The president is asking for a second term, and he's really, really working at it. Do you think that he has done enough in the last 4 years to deserve a second term?
Well, most certainly. Going by what we've experienced in the last 4 years, in terms of the broad parameters on which the transformation agenda was set up, of course, Mr. President has done very well. And I always try to tell people, when you are assessing the regime of Mr. President, you have to go way back to 1999. What was the status quo before the PDP got elected and we went back into democracy? We basically had a system where the government was in control of everything. And the PDP, when it got elected, they realized that that was a system that would not work. They needed to have a system where you would expand the economy and grow things more and more. And so they adopted a privatization program, which they have by and large tried to adhere to. We've had the telecommunications sector privatized, and people today can pick up their phone lines and use either Glo, or they can use MTN, or they can use Airtel, but they forget that there was a time prior to that when we had only 240 analog lines. So that is progress.
400.
Well, no, officially we had 400. Officially we had 400, but only about 240,000 were working. And then we also got a pension scheme. We got a health insurance scheme. We got improvement in infrastructure. So the Jonathan government is a continuation of the PDP agenda. And you can see that mostly what he has had to tackle in the period he's been there has been the reforms in the power sector. Now we actually have a power roadmap that has been implemented. The assets of the power holding company of
Even
Nigeria.
though there's still no power,
yeah,
but that's talk for another day.
We need to understand that this thing takes time to materialize. We're talking about the power sector. After all, South Africa today is experiencing power cuts. And that's because they've not invested in new power infrastructure in the last 20 years. We had a situation where prior to the Obasanjo government, there had been no investment in the power sector going back over 30 years. So the power roadmap has been implemented. We've let go of the assets of the PAC, and both the power generating and the distribution assets. And then also what is left now are the 10 assets of the Nigeria, the independent power projects. Those are the 10 NIPPs that were built during Obasanjo's time. And then also the letting go of the Transmission Corporation of Nigeria. So you can see movement. And then when you come to the petroleum sector, that has not worked as it should have been, because we've had the petroleum industry bill pending in the National Assembly for a while now. And our expectation is that we need continuity to see this roadmap to completion. We need to diversify the economy. We need to create more opportunities. And I'm quite happy when you had Mr. Tilewa Adebajo on board, and he raised a very important issue. When you have a country that has about 170 million people, the key factor for judging progress is how many people are you able to lift out of poverty to bring into a place where you can say this is the strength of your middle class. For instance, in China, I was telling Doctor before we came in here, over 300 million Chinese people have been brought from poverty into the middle class. That happened because China adopted market-driven policies, same as the Nigerian government is adopting today. So if we do not allow the Jonathan government complete these projects, then a lot of the challenges we're currently experiencing, where we are not able to create the opportunities for more people to come into the middle class, are going to persist. We don't want to go back to an era where government is the one calling the shots, where government is the one that owns the power sector, government is the one that controls the ports. And unfortunately, people who say that there's no distinction between PDP and the APC are clearly wrong. APC has come out to say, look, we believe in government control. That's their agenda. Buhari epitomized that when he was head of state. And so we have a government who on one side believes in government control. We have an opposition party on one side who believe in government control and government ownership against the sitting government that says, you know what, we have a transformation agenda. These are the directions we want to head into. We want to improve the infrastructure. We want to build a train network from Lagos to Calabar. We want to build an express train system from Lagos to Ibadan that will take about 1 hour, so that if you live in Ibadan, you can walk in Lagos. We have to allow the government to complete these programs and then to go on to better things.
Reverend Dr. Aribisala, I'm sorry. When he talked about moving people out of the poverty line, below the poverty line, upward, the question that will come to mind is the issue of unemployment. I mean, if you want to move people, you have to create the opportunities for them to make the money. Now, would you think that this has been done in the last 4 years, unemployment?
There are 170 million Nigerians. And the population growth rate is very high in Nigeria. It's over 3%. So there are a lot of people that are coming up. Secondly, the situation that we have is that what is happening overseas meant that a lot of Nigerians are coming back home because things are not doing too well in the West as well. They had all sorts of crises there. But here, we have a number of things that the government has been doing to try and help the situation. Let's just take one example, agriculture. Under this government, agriculture has been transformed significantly. One of the things they did was that, first of all, they came up with a policy where they gave farmers cell phones. And in giving farmers cell phones, they gave them the opportunity to be able to access government directly, to get fertilizer, to get some of the things that they needed. And in doing that, they cut out middlemen. Now, what this has done is that there has been a tremendous improvement in agriculture. We are now like 60% self-sufficient in rice. We are now the largest exporter of cassava in the world. We are now, our food imports has declined by about 40%. And so these are areas that
can...
As
much as 40%?
Yes, yes. We are now actually moving into exports. We're soon going to be exporting rice. And this is where the point that is making is important. If you truncate these developments, then we will lose what we have gained.
No, there are those who would argue with you that you've just reeled out statistics.
Okay.
In practical terms. I mean, in the first segment we had someone who said, where is the food on the table? I mean, some have also said, we've gone to the market, we never saw any Nigerian grown rice. We talked about cassava bread, it's not in the market. So these are statistics practically.
Well, where are the statistics coming from? Nigeria is a huge country. You see, part of the problem here is that we are not numerate in Nigeria. We don't believe in figures. Somebody will tell you he's doing a crusade and 6 million people come, and then people will just put it down. And you know that we cannot move 6 million people easily like that. But we've got to have a situation where we can get these figures. Now, a number of the things that are going on here in Nigeria that we have figures for officially, people discount them because they just don't believe them.
Exactly.
But the figures are not just being the figures are not just being manufactured.
But Doctor, they argue because their reality is not what you are talking about. I mean, I go to the market. I know how expensive food is. The rice I see in the market is still rice brought in from Thailand. So where is this rice we're producing, which we expect to export?
Yeah, but the question is this. How much rice were we producing before? And how much rice are we producing now? You may not see the difference immediately, But in terms of what we are now producing, the increase is significant.
Well, I'm not seeing it in the market. I'm not eating it.
You live in a cosmopolitan area like Lagos.
Oh,
where
okay.
You want to get the pricey stuff. You shop in ShopRite. You want to you've not gone to.
I buy my rice in the local market.
Just let me land.
Not
For instance,
ShopRite.
you've not gone to territories in the southeast where they have rice mill, for instance, in Aba, to find out whether the rice that is being milled there is what is being sold in the market. So you cannot use your experience in Lagos.
Okay, it hasn't got to Lagos yet. It's coming.
Not just that it's not gone to Lagos. It's just that Nigeria is a massive country. You are talking about 170 million people.
I know it's a huge country.
And this is what Dr. Aribisala is trying to say. The fact is, we are a country that does not rely on that. We don't generate accurate statistics. I mean, something as simple as conducting a census is a problem for us. Something as simple as registering voters. You register 68 million voters. In about how many months you were only able to distribute 38 million permanent voters cards, and you think that in 14 days you are going to be able to distribute 30 million cards. People just don't live in reality. They act as if they operate from a different world. And until we can bring discussions to these practical terms, we're not going to make any movement, because people talk about change and you say, where are you changing to? Where are you coming from? Where are you going? And the man who is articulating this change, where does he say he wants to take you to?
Okay, Barrister, we need to manage our time. Let me come back to you on this matter of employment. The President recently inaugurated the Presidential Jobs Board. What is that all about? Do you think that's going to actually address the issue of about 1.5 graduates who are churned into the job market every year?
Well, definitely it is going to help. I mean, I listened to the vice presidential running mate of General Buhari saying that if they come in, they will create 720,000 jobs in a year. And I laughed because, again, in 2013, about 1.7 million jobs were created in Nigeria under this administration, and he's talking about 720,000. These people don't have a clue. The target that these people have, the new people you're talking about, is actually 3 million. They want to create like 3 million jobs within a 12-month period.
Yes.
It's a hefty target, but it can be done in so many different ways.
The other side of that question will be, we have other agencies, job creation agencies, ITF, PDTF, NDE, SMIDA, NIMASA, Women Affairs, MAID. All these agencies were there before the Presidential Job Board. I mean, is that not duplicating function?
Okay, let me say two things. The main way that you're going to create jobs is by growing the economy. Now, there is no question that under this government, the economy of Nigeria has grown significantly. Again, we're going to have to rely on indices to determine that. Number one, Nigeria is now the largest economy in Africa. Number two, Nigeria attracts the largest amount of investment in Africa. I mean, you may say you don't like statistics, but the statistic is coming from the United States Conference on Trade and Development. We are the ones that get most investments in Africa. Two, Nigeria has the highest return on investment. Ask the Dangote, they will tell you, you have money, the place to invest it is here in Nigeria. So the economy is growing. It's been growing by 7% every year under this administration. If that is happening, it's going to filter into jobs. And we're saying if you have something good going, you don't stop it and bring in people that when they came before were talking about going to barter trade, we're talking about trying to get people to be disciplined by telling them to queue. It's a whole generational change that you are going to bring in the middle of a process that is moving on. And that is the issue.